Thanks for joining me for another edition of the Mortgage Minute. I'm Jill Balcones, President of Shelter Mortgage. Today, we'll talk about new FHA regulations and other loan products that might be good for your customers. And just in time for Halloween, we'll share a true-life real estate horror story. But first, let's start with FHA. Recently, FHA loan limits were reduced in more than 600 counties. If you remember, higher loan limits were temporarily enacted as part of the 2008 Economic Stimulus Act, but they reverted back to a limit of 95% of the median home price by county in most locations. For customers who need higher loan amounts, what alternatives do they have? Bank portfolio loans can be a good choice. Because we keep them on our books instead of selling them, they're not subject to the same rigid underwriting guidelines required by other investors. A typical portfolio loan customer will have a good credit score, but may have non-traditional credit that wouldn't be accepted under typical underwriting standards. VA loans for military members and USDA loans for rural properties also continue to be excellent options and require no down payment. The point is, there are many mortgage options in addition to FHA loans, and our loan officers can help your customers find the right one for them. Now, check out this real estate horror story. It's a real nightmare, so watch at your own risk.
Recently, I spoke with a real estate agent who told me about a problem they ran into while reviewing materials for a closing. Their buyer, Paul, was purchasing his deceased Aunt Sarah's home. However, Aunt Sarah had title interest in the property. Because Paul used an inexperienced lender, this was not discovered until the closing day was near. Without proof of Aunt Sarah's death, the closing was in jeopardy. Unfortunately, Paul's lender did not give him any direction on what proof was needed. At the closing, Paul did bring proof of the death, but it was not a standard death certificate. He showed up with a Polaroid picture of Aunt Sarah's tombstone. Needless to say, this postponed the sale and made for a hair-raising situation at the closing table.
Although this story is humorous, it's no laughing matter when a loan fails to close on time. Too often we hear stories about people who use inexperienced lenders and pay the price. Always be sure to work with the lender you can trust so you don't end up with your own horror story. Finally, I want to give a capture rate shout out to our partners who met or exceeded their capture rate goals last month. Congratulations and keep up the great work. Thank you for watching this edition of the Mortgage Minute. Make sure to tune in next time when we talk about social media marketing and how to combat the slower season. Until then, always work with the lender you can trust.